Welcome back to Truck Talk with the Tire Doc. I'm your host, the Tire Doctor. We are on a mission to put sealant in 4 backhoes, every single tire, because they're brand new, and we always put sealant in our backhoes because it's super important, because they're always picking up nails and all that kind of stuff. So it looks like it's not the busiest day today. Pretty good day today as a tire doctor. You know, nice sunny day, except for the fact that I forgot to refill my jerry can. Had a little hole in it, so when I went to go use it, when my compressor died, it was empty, so I had to go fill up at the gas station, and halfway through the call, of course, it had to die when I was starting to air up the tire and before I had to put it on. But it was only like 5 minutes out of the way. It's currently 3:40 p.m. in the afternoon. I probably shouldn't be drinking this energy drink, but I like energy drinks and they taste pretty good, and I have an hour and 40 minutes of driving to get back home, maybe an hour, almost 2 hours, because traffic is probably going to start building up. Because I'm going all the way from the east to the west where I live, I figured I would bring you guys along for at least a little bit of my drive. It looks like you guys really liked the Truck Talk with the Tire Doc series, so I figured I would start making some more. Of course, like I said in the last one, it is pretty hard because I don't have the most amounts of topics in the world. But, you know, every time a topic comes up, I usually like to click the camera back on, talk to you guys. There's a lot of you guys that wanted me to talk about, like, literally just tires and, like, the history and all that stuff. But honestly, I didn't really like school. Let's be real. I was good in school. I was kind of like a nerd in school. Surprisingly enough, not a lot of tire guys can say that. My dad included, because he went to university and then for accounting, and then he dropped out right before the CPA, whatever the heck it was called back then. So it was a CGA or something, because you had to have an accounting job back in the day, probably still do, for like a couple years, and then you can take the test. And he was running the tire business back in those days. He was just starting up, so he couldn't even take the test to begin with. So he just ended up marrying my mom, which she is now an accountant. She has been an accountant. They probably were in school probably around the same time. She went to university and all that stuff, worked a couple accounting jobs, and then now she just does the accounting for our business, and I think our old neighbor's business and stuff like that, you know, just to keep the bills coming in. My tires on the inside, the rears, like the inside shoulder, they are like about to blow. Probably like next week the cords will start showing. I'm trying to see if a tire company would like to sponsor a short video before I change them, and I did reach out to one, and he said that he'll get back to me in a couple days, and I'm like, okay, I don't have a couple days, but I guess sure. So I'm hoping by next week everything will be settled in, and I'll be able to change out those tires, post that video. Yeah, because I don't think I'm lasting much longer on these tires. The front end of my truck, I had to rotate them because the front end had bearings that needed to be replaced, and I didn't notice for like a little bit. So the inside shoulders are wearing, but the outside is like pretty decent tread. So even tire guys have problems with that, because most of the times it has nothing to do with the tire. It's all about mechanic stuff. So that's why whenever like a transport truck driver or anything says, why are my tires wearing like this? And I go, I don't know, ask your mechanic. Because usually it's the bearing, usually it's just anything. It's very, very unlikely that it's the tire that is the problem. Sometimes if it's a Ling Long, which is like one of the worst tires in the world, then maybe we could say that it's the tire's fault. There's so many times where people like ask me if I do hydraulics or like fix. Some guy actually just recently asked me if I do windshield, like fix windshield cracks, and I'm like, that's a new one. but like I literally just do tires. I'm thinking about making like a shirt or something just to say I'm just a tire guy, because the amount of times that I've said that I'm just a tire guy, and if you guys out there can relate, like, holy crap, dude, like, I'm just a tire guy. I'm just a tire guy. Just say it to everybody, because they always think I'm there for something else, like a new door on a Bobcat, or load up the hydraulics with fluid or something. I don't know. If you guys are still tuned in, put down in the comments if you want me to make like specialty merch that isn't my logo. Like if you want something like I love tires or something, just kind of like the I love New York kind of thing, or even just like tire, I do tires or something like that. Even like just like suggest a slogan that you would wear, like and then I'll make it. Because if you guys are interested, because the thing about my channel is that I feel like I'm the only tire guy online, and I really like the community that is forming on my channel, because there's literally nothing else like it. I mean, there are a lot of mechanics in my comments and stuff like that in this community, but the thing is, like, there's no community for tire guys. So I really want to make sure that, like, you know, this is a complete community. So I want, like, you know, I want to make like t-shirts that like nobody else could relate, just because nobody in this world is gonna make a t-shirt that says I love tires. And there are some people that would probably wear that kind of shit t-shirt, me included, even though I don't really love tires. Anyways, yeah, so I have been seeing that the community is slowly starting to form. It's looking up. I'm glad you guys are finally enjoying it. I mean, a lot of you guys have been enjoying it for a long time, my content and the long form. I just got my top viewed vlog of all time. Not even just vlog, but full form video. I think it was at like 16.1 was the one that I had to beat, and I just got 16.2 thousand, and yeah, so that means a lot, guys. I don't know what I did on that last vlog, but I guess it did something. So I'm trying to pump out as much content as I can, but the problem is this is literally a full-time job, and it's not like I can always just drop stuff and just pick up the phone and record, because sometimes the site it doesn't allow me to do that kind of thing, just because it's really busy. There's oh, there's my dad. Hello.
What do you got on board?
10 and a 12.
Want to make a pit stop on your way across? Got a 12.580/18. Got a double header in the morning for front flat on a backhoe. On the picture, might need a tire because it's starting down, not off the beat or anything, but just in case.
Well then, I guess I'm not going home right away. Guess I should turn my AC down. Maybe you guys can hear me a little bit better now. So sometimes I can't record because there's like concrete trucks coming in and out, and you know, I have this much space between me and what I'm fixing. Just like little things like that. Sometimes like it's really busy, and my oldest brother only works Tuesdays and Thursdays, so usually I can get the most of my content on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but sometimes it's a whole thing. But sometimes if I'm not getting a lot of calls, and I'm literally like right now driving back home for an hour, 2 hours, and just like traveling in Toronto, it's hard because just you can't sit in one spot forever, because just Toronto, you know. If you've ever done service work in the downtown area of any place really, you will probably get a ticket if you stay too long. Even if you're not even staying too long, you'll probably get a ticket if you're unlucky and the parking guy is passing while you're down there. Eventually, once hopefully we start hiring some people. The thing about hiring people in the tire business is it's a really hard thing to do, just because, you know, not a lot of people want to do this job, for one, and a lot of the people that do this job, they don't care about really anything. Like, when I was a kid, my dad like literally like taught me to, you know, care about all the tools and like don't like slam them on the truck and take care of the truck and all that stuff. But you can only do so much when hiring a 30-year-old, like, or just my age, like 25-year-old, because they've already learned what they've learned if they've already been doing tires, and you can only like teach them so much, you know. And if they do the job wrong, you know, you have a whole problem. And also it's risky as well, because sometimes if you can't trust everybody. Like, you do have to put your trust in these people that you hire, because of the fact that a lot of people in this business, they will take customers and then go off on their own. That's the one thing that has happened before, I think, to like many people, is they make up their own card, and then they basically, like me, what I'm doing technically, but this is a little bit different. What I'm doing is because like we're family. Like, my dad owns the business, so it's not like I'm going off on my own. It's all coming back to the same place, all the money and stuff like that. But if it wasn't my dad, I probably wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, because I'm taking the customers away from my dad, even though not really, because nobody's really calling me. Only my fans that I'm gaining from all my like Instagram and stuff, they're like DMing me and stuff. Just hard to hire. We love Toronto traffic. From here, it's now 4 o'clock. It's gonna take me an hour to get to tire storage to pick up that tire that I now need to pick up before I head home. And then I won't be home till 5:45 or something like that. You know, there's times where I miss COVID, because if you guys were traveling during COVID back and forth on this highway, 401, oh boy, it was so nice. Literally going max speed, 250 kilometers an hour. No, I'm just kidding. You probably could, though, safely. Like, there was literally nobody on the road. It was amazing. And the funny thing is, when I first started full-time was during COVID, which, you know, you wouldn't think would be a thing. But, yeah, we were essential workers because, you know, you got to keep the world rolling. And if the truckers were essential, then we were also essential. I think there were, like, specific projects, like the hospitals and the long-term care facilities that were essential for buildings. So any sort of like skid steer or backhoe or any kind of equipment that was building that's mainly the ones that we were going to. Halfway through the whole shutdown stuff, we stopped getting, like, unless it was like passed for essential for housing buildings, like they were shutting down the sites and stuff, like the government, because they weren't essential. And all of our contractors were like, yeah, okay, well, we're just going home, I guess. And there's no point, because there's no flats on those tires because they're not moving around. So, but the weird thing is that business literally like was booming during COVID. Like, it was the best month. I think it was the best year that we've had, which is kind of odd. We were kind of lucky. To be honest, I think the reason why it was the best was because we were only like 2 trucks, just me and the beast were working. And basically the gas mileage was probably amazing because we were just zooming across the highway, and the timing was great. So we were bouncing from one call to the next call to the next call to the next call and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, back to the point. The first time that I started working full-time was during COVID, and the traffic was 0, and it slowly started to build. So it was so weird where like I never knew how bad traffic was until 3 years after the start of the pandemic, which is I want to go back, not for that reason, but for just the traffic. I thought that, like, you know, since all this hybrid stuff has been going on, all this online working, I thought that maybe it would just, you know, be less traffic, and I'm sure it is. I don't know. I have no real comparison other than like when I was a kid and my dad was driving, but really you don't get a sense of things when you're just in the passenger seat, because I was just like, whatever. I would draw like circles and squares. I was a weird child. I would just like take a sheet of paper and I would just draw a circle and then another circle beside it and then another circle, and then I'd have a whole page of just small little circles. And when I started to get like, that was when I was younger, I'd just do squares or just do circles. And then when I grew up, I would do a square and then a circle inside. Yup. That's advanced tire doctor kid stuff back in the day. You know, one thing that I would love to do is make somebody had a suggestion in the comments on one of my videos, and I thought that was a really cool idea. It was to make like a children's book, and I think that would be sick, because it would almost like, it would be hard for me to make. I'd have to figure out how the heck to do it and how to get, it would have to be like an animated kind of thing, and that would be like a little cartoon. Get away, get out of here, fly. Freaking God. But I think it would like teach our kids to like work hard, because, you know, there's not a lot of people in this world anymore that like just put their head down and work. It's getting a lot more rare, which is why the government is basically saying that we can't build all these houses if we don't get like immigration increasing, because all the people in this country just do not want to build houses. They don't want, construction work is just so, oh, I'm gonna kill this thing. Sorry, I'm gonna unalive this thing. Oh, I got it. No! Dude, I pressed on it and it's not dead. Seriously? Oh my Lord. I literally squished it and it must have a hard shell. Jeez. But honestly, it kind of excites me to like build something other than like, you know, tires. Like, it would be tires. Like, obviously the children's book would be of the tire doctor, and, you know, I don't know, maybe like working with the tire doctor. No, I'd have to create something in my brain and then put it on to I think like a couple pages, maybe like 10 pages, 15-page children's book with little pictures and cool things of me like changing the tire or something, and being like, phew, this is so hard work. It'd have to be like little amounts of words, which is great because I only know little words. I'm not a mathematician, so, or whatever, linguist. See, I can't even say that. I think it'd be really cool if anybody like knows like an animator, or like what is it called, like a writer, not even a writer, just like a graphic person that can make out some drawings and stuff. That would be sick, because I think that's a really cool idea. A children's book, the tire doctor working hard. You know, if you work hard just like the tire doctor, you can be anything that you ever wanted to be. I mean, I think my story is a little inspiring, I would say. You know, I literally went to college. I dropped out. I wouldn't probably say that, but I went to college. I dropped out to a year in, and then I went full-time here, and now I am started on TikTok, and now I'm a YouTuber, all while working full-time hours, like 60+ hours of this job, on top of making all these videos. The long form videos are the hardest to make, because I do not like editing. I also don't make enough money on my YouTube AdSense to hire an editor, because it doesn't make any sense for, I mean, I don't know. I might eventually just like gamble and get somebody to edit a video and see what they do, but they definitely can't control my shorts. Like, they can't edit my shorts, because I literally, like, I know I'm the creative power on my shorts kind of thing, because I'm always talking random stuff, and sometimes things just come to me randomly, so it's not like I can do like a skit or anything, because it's all based off of what I record that day and then I come home. But it's a lot easier when I don't do voiceovers like on my vlogs, so it's all just whatever's there I put up. So I just cut, put it together, and then I do it all from my phone. So it's not like I have a whole editing software where I can pinpoint. I literally didn't take any school or anything for that kind of stuff. I wanted to when I was in high school, but everything just got too like meticulous and stuff. All the stuff that like I wanted to be. I took like a video and editing course in high school, but I liked it, but the only thing that they talked about for like the camera was the shutter speed and like the ISO and stuff like that, and I'm like, too much. I just want to know how to like take a good picture. I know that's part of it, but it's just too scientifical. I like to know a little about a lot instead of a lot about a little. That's some quote from somebody, some book or something. For one, the reason why I like to do that is because of my ADHD, and I literally can't like focus on one thing. I literally just focus on one thing at one time, and then like a week later I won't like it anymore, and then I'll go on to the next thing, which is why this job is so nice, because it's all over the place. Like this job, like I was like oh, is he on my glasses? Oh, I'm gonna get him. Oh yeah, I got him. Nah, I need to clean my glasses though. Wearing glasses to work has its advantages and disadvantages, that's for sure. Wearing contacts is basically just a full disadvantage. Like I can't really see long distances, so I have to wear something. When I first started 3 years ago, I would wear contacts, but the contacts, it would always dry up, especially in the winter. The heat in the truck, it always dries out. The air is always dry. So, and when you're tired, you blink less. So basically, the contacts would just be sucked dry of the good stuff that keeps your eyes nice and moist. So instead, I just wear glasses, and I have to get another appointment soon, and I'm hoping to get the same frames, because these frames are literally, at this point, they're literally like the tire doctor's identity, like the Jeffrey Dahmer-esque look. Those comments only started coming out after the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. Actually, funny story, I went clubbing, was it last year? I don't even know. Oh, I think it was in the spring or something. But I went clubbing with my girlfriend, and we were like walking in the streets of Toronto, and we were coming back from the club, going back to our hotel, and all of a sudden, like just randomly, some girl just yells, "Jeffrey Dahmer!" I just knew. I'm just like, she's talking about me. So I look back and I just smile and go like, "Hey!" But yeah, that was funny. We still have a good laugh at that. Me and my girlfriend, the tire nurse. That was when like the Jeffrey Dahmer series just came out like a couple months ago. The other disadvantage to wearing glasses while I'm working this job is a lot of dust gets on them. Sometimes you can just take them off and blow the dust off. It depends on how light the dust is. Sometimes I have like a ton of little wet napkin things for glass cleaners. But the problem with that is it always has little dust particles on it, and then you're wiping it. Even though you're wiping it off, it still scratches the surface of my glasses. These ones are not that bad. I've had them for like 2 years, maybe. The last pair that I had, holy, they were just so scratched, it was ridiculous. So healthcare in Canada is free, but for glasses and all that stuff, only like a portion of that is covered by insurance. So you definitely have to pay for the frames. I'm not 100% sure about the prescription, but it definitely ain't free, because I think the last time for these ones I paid like $350 or something like that out of pocket. Damn, dude, this whole time that I've been talking to you guys, the GPS has literally went down 3 minutes. Oh dear, I love accidents at this time of day. Rush hour accidents literally mess up, especially when you're downtown Toronto. Like, you will not be home for 3 hours. If an accident happens on like the Gardner, which is like the one that runs directly through Toronto, if there's an accident on that highway, you are not getting home for 3 hours at least if you live where I live. Sometimes I just wish I had a direct line to these traffic people and be like, yo, we need a traffic guy here, we need a traffic guy there. I'm sure they do have that in place, but, you know, they could do a better job, especially now that they totally closed off and destroyed the end of the lakeshore. If you're from Toronto, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, would you look at that? We're on the move. I hope you guys are enjoying this this randomness talk. Surprisingly, it's pretty entertaining for myself. I didn't know that talking so much would be so entertaining. Anyways, if you guys made it to the end of this video, leave a comment down below. Just know that on my long form videos, I read every single comment. I might not respond to them. I do like a couple of them if they're nice. I like the nice comments. I do see them. Don't think that leaving a comment is a waste of time, because it's not. See you guys in the next truck talk. Let's see how fast I can get this video edited and out.